and keep going and improving. I think when Lee Johnson gets the opportunity again, he won't waste it. And he didn't waste it then because people are still talking about the television title match at Supercard.
Oh, goodness. And I'll tell you what, everybody's talking about Ring of Honor AEW this week. Special start times and broadcast this weekend. AEW The Collision and Rampage air it live back-to-back. So last week, we had 3 hours of AEW fun on TNT. This week, the same as Collision. Rampage back-to-back live this Saturday. The feeling out process here. It's going to be the speed and the quickness of Lee Johnson, but don't underestimate just how fast JD Drake can be on his feet.
I was going to say, well, that's for the size. Definitely lining them up beside each other. Lee Johnson can have the speed advantage, but the speed that JD Drake has and the power combined makes JD Drake always hard to deal with and ultra impressive.
Wow! Scoop and a slam.
Yeah. Sometimes you get slammed and sometimes you get anchored into the mat. And right there, that was Lee Johnson feeling being anchored into a mat.
And if I was JD Drake, I might have tried to stay on top of Johnson. That's what worked for Kyle Fletcher, and I think that's Fletcher really the only man with the stamina in the 10 matches that Johnson had where he went 9-1 that could stay on top. Keep fighting Johnson, because we see his tank doesn't run empty.
Well, that's the difference between someone like Kyle Fletcher and JD Drake. They have different approaches in a match.
Ooh. Nice takedown there. Oh, nice fake out.
Yeah, JD Drake trying to stop that momentum. One arm drag was enough. He stopped it just like he's stopping this arm drag. That's what I mean. It's different game plans because of the size that JD Drake has. He knows how to maneuver himself around. Wow! And not wanting to get too close to get arm drag just like that right there, Riccaboni.
And 3 attempts at the body slam. If nothing else, Big Shotty is resilient. You know that big shot drop, which is going to be, he's got to be thinking, how can he hit that finishing move against JD Drake? That's what I'm thinking here.
When there's a will, there's a way. But he might have to think of night. If he could get that leapfrog, he might make it a big Shotty drop kick.
Wow! And Johnson now with Drake in the corner. Punching that chin, firing back up. Big Shotty, wow, running chop in the corner.
I'll tell you what, Big Shotty puts that chin enough, probably make it impossible for him to be knocked out. He's made his chin so strong.
And JD Drake giving.
But see, here's a mistake here. Now Lee Johnson is playing JD Drake's game. He's never going to win this against JD Drake. If JD Drake gets his chop in there, he outspeeded him though. Finesse and speed winning the game here.
Irish whip reverse as Johnson holds up in the corner. Back elbow rattles Drake now. Johnson.
There you go.
Drake. Snake eyes.
My God.
And that jaw. Johnson was trying to get it fired up, but that jaw and neck are now worse for the wear following the snake eyes in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Another big move there by JD Drake. And just like before, Riccaboni is that big move, and he resets the game. Stops the momentum, comes back in, doesn't rush in because he don't want to stay too close to Lee Johnson. Watch this. Now the hands are being on. Now the hands are in there. That's the game that Lee Johnson didn't want to play.
Right across the chest. And these fans are glutton for punishment. And they like the brand of violence. Oh! Goodness, that straight jab.
As a wrestler, man, I never boxed with a boxer. I never kicked with a martial artist. And I never chopped with a chopper. You go the opposite route with that. That's just me speaking, though. But some of the young guys, they want to prove to be the hardest striker or the hardest boxer or whatever. And that's just a new wave that we're in, Riccaboni.
JD Drake now sending Lee Johnson up and over. Sunset flip. Breaks the hands, no one home.
Nice.
Look at this crucifix. 2 count only. And JD Drake kick to the midsection now. Sends Johnson off the ropes. It is Drake, big time spine buster. Wow. Hooks the leg. 2. Whoa.
Hey, that spine buster could have cost it, but the damage is done in that spine buster. Once it hits the rest of the match, you're feeling that spine. neutralizing you, making your legs weak. See right there, Lee Johnson in no rush to get to his feet. J.D. Drake adding to the inflict. He's already put on that blower back with the boots. Straight to it.
What you see here too, Caprice, the confidence of J.D. Drake, just living in the moment. You're right. Johnson ceded maybe the most important thing earlier on in the match, the pace.
Yep. That's what I mean when you with Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson has a fast pace. J.D. Drake's kind of trained the same. You're not gonna go speed for speed of somebody that's fast. You're gonna go the opposite way, and as long as J.D. Drake is controlling the pace, he's gonna control the match.
And now that thrust to the throat out of the view of Stephon Smith is the difference. You saw Johnson holding the throat.
Now you got back-to-back moves coming.
2.
This is veteran work right here, Rick Abani of J.D. Drake. He didn't rush in back-to-back before, but now you see these combinations coming because he has Lee Johnson down enough to be able to inflict a punish without throwing out himself out there and costing himself like he did when he tried to land on his chest.
Absolutely brilliant game plan. You're right, Caprice. He's making the most of these opportunities. That is the veteran instinct of J.D. Drake. With Johnson now trying to get back to his feet. He's up to one knee now, back on a vertical base. Shot to the midsection there. And Johnson with another. Drake cuts Johnson back down. Front face lock. It is Drake up and over.
Johnson on his feet.
Right hand connects. Ooh, and Johnson, that quickness prevents a right. Oh, no.
Ooh. Deep, that's the speed. J.D. Drake tried to match that speed with Johnson and going away from it and gave Johnson too much time to recover. Now Jake on the outside of the ring, Drake on the outside of the ring trying to break the momentum, but that is almost a target if you're Lee Johnson.
Looking to get the momentum here. It is Johnson off the ropes, and Johnson airborne. Crowd going absolutely wild for Lee Johnson, who gets J.D. Drake back in the ring. It is Drake back on his feet. Johnson all the way up top. Johnson, high fly, flow, hooks the leg, 2.
No. Beautiful. Now Drake trying to go to the outside. He's trying to cut the momentum here. He wants Johnson to try the same thing again. He's breathing. He's creating space because J.D. Drake's in a lot of trouble. Now, here's where young people make a mistake. If Johnson tries the same thing again, he's going to be fooled because you can't do the same thing to Drake twice.
And goes downstairs in the basement. And it's J.D.
Told you.
Drake taking the head off of Lee Johnson.
That's old school, new class, Rick Abani.
And Drake sending Johnson in. As we see Lee Johnson scrambling for the ropes to the corner. It is J.D. Drake reading Johnson his last rights here. No, with a cannonball.
The speed of Johnson saving him. Now Johnson will go to the top rope. He needs to go faster if he wants to finish this off. Don't worry about what the crowd is doing.
And look at the great shot here. It is Johnson, no one home. Pops up, pops through, back to his feet, under the corner, up and over. Johnson on the apron, blocked, right hand by Drake.
Look at J.D. Drake right here in the corner where he is comfortable at, pulling Lee Johnson up. And I have no idea what the workman has in mind, but Johnson's going to keep it from happening.
Oh. Wow. Up the ladder is Johnson. Johnson climbing, second rope on the outside. What does Johnson have in mind here? Sunset bomb! Making the most of high leverage situations. Big shotty.
High impact, very fast shotty with a fast ascension there.
Frog
nice shot, that could be it.
Cover, 2, Johnson wins.
Yes, sir.
Winner of this match, Big Shotty Lee Johnson.
That's another thing I learned right there, Rick Abani. Sometimes you don't need the big shot drop. Being able to change, hey, I'm not going to hit the big shot drop, but I can hit this beautiful frog splash and still get the win. Adjusting for the competition is Lee Johnson, and that's why Lee Johnson, with the big shotty, is your winner.
Tell you what, lesson learned from Daniels, lesson learned from Fletcher, perhaps.
I am Ring of Honor. I'm here every week, every single week.
Tell you what, Lee Johnson